time is it? War time. What time is it? War time. Who's the king? What time is it? War time. Who's the king? Hold on.
This the Noah's Ark, we building and building, the flood coming, but they will not listen. Exceeding great army, they worry about sinning. Shout out to Bishop and Deacons. Hold tight, keep your mind on the mission. Placing saints, just hoping and wishing. Waiting on our redemption. Hey, we just waiting on our redemption.
While I wait on my redemption, I wanna play my position. Water boy, Lord willing. Fourth quarter, gotta kill it.
My bro, what's your name, my brother? Donterry. Donterry. Sister, what's your name? Andrea. Sister, Andrea, brother Donterry. So, it's very important what we're trying to teach y'all right now. So what we're trying to do is get our people, the 12 tribes of Israel, to come back to God's laws, statutes, and commandments. Because you know God getting ready to judge this earth, right? I hope y'all been see. You watch the news, Andrea. Y'all watch the news, right? What's the big talk about this right now? Everybody's scared there's a war about to go on, right? Between Russia and the United States. Everybody's scared. You know, these two countries got nuclear weapons, right? And these bombs, if they start blowing these bombs up, right, this can destroy a whole country, like with 2 or 3 bombs. So everybody's scared. We trying to get our people prepared for that right there, because we got to get right for the Lord to save us in that day. Get that 1 Peter 3:10.
The book of 2 Peter, chapter 3 and verse 10.
Listen to this.
But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night.
So the day of the Lord, what it's talking about is the destruction that the Lord gonna bring, the judgment that the Lord gonna bring on this earth. He said it's gonna come like a thief in the night. How a thief come? He come quiet, he come sneaky. You don't know he coming. He get ready to break in your house. He ain't finna be like, oh, I'm finna go break in your house. It's gonna come and catch you off guard is what the scripture tells you. Read.
In the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise.
It said the heavens gonna pass away with a great noise. That means all the different kingdoms. This the white man's heaven, if you don't understand that. He in rulership. He living in his heaven. You understand that, Sister Andrew? That these other nations living in their heaven. The East Indian man, the Arab man, they got the leadership and rulership over all their different countries. That's their heaven. The Lord said all that's gonna pass away with a great noise. What you think that great noise gonna be? Boom! A bomb.
That's right.
Read. Listen to what the Bible is trying to describe to y'all. This is why we're trying to teach you the urgency of why we need to learn what we need to learn right now. Who we are and what we got to do. Read.
And the elements shall melt with fervent heat.
It said the elements of the world. That's all different metals, the stones, everything you can see that stuff made out of elements. Read it again.
And the elements shall melt with fervent heat.
It said the elements gonna melt with fervent heat. Now, in that time when Peter was writing this, they didn't have no such thing as nuclear bombs. But now we got weapons and bombs that's going, he see the future. They can melt stuff with fervent heat. Read again.
And the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up.
It said the earth and the works that are in. The works is talking about the works of evil. The evil that this world got going for us, man. Everywhere you turn, it's evil everywhere. It's homosexual, it is. You can't turn on TV without seeing that, right? You can't even watch a good show without 2 dudes kissing. Like, that's evil. When I came up, you ain't see nothing like that. And it show wasn't readily acceptable, right? You see what I'm saying? Like, nah, you already knew that wasn't how it go. But, hey, nowadays what they trying to do, they trying to push that on your kids. They want your kids to learn about homosexual history before they learn about themselves. We out here showing you that we the Israelites, we come from the tribe of Judah. This should be in every history book. They got this stuff in university libraries, but they'll never teach it to you. They know who you are. We don't know who we are, though. Why this? Why is that? The same reason why the slave master would come along and tell us, don't read this part of the Bible. Don't read it right anyway. We're going to come and tell you what it says.
Bring it out.
But the actual words in the Bible tell us who they are. That they the devil, we the chosen people of the book, and we are the ones that are supposed to be in rulership.
That's right.
All right, let's get some more on that. So we trying to show our people that, look, the Lord getting ready to judge this place. Give me that in Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 5. Listen to this. So, like I said, Christ told us himself, he said, you shall hear wars and rumors of wars. Right now, we turn on the news, we hear rumors of wars. Hey, Russia about to invade Croatia. The Crimea about to get taken over. If they do that, then all the world nations gonna have to come together and fight. That's World War III they talking about. The Bible prophesied about this. What you gonna do with World War III? Where you gonna hide that with if a nuclear bomb go off? You can't hide. You better be under the shadow of the Most High.
That's right.
Read that.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 9 and verse 5.
Read.
For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise.
Now it said, now Isaiah talking about a battle, talking about war, right? War in his time, he said every battle of the warrior was with confused noise. So like when you sit there and watch an old movie, they got swords and shields and bucklers and all the other stuff, right? It was loud out there. It seemed like Braveheart, right? The 300, they fighting. You got swords clanging on shields, it's loud. There's a whole bunch of noise, people yelling, dying, getting stabbed, all that, right? Read it again.
For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise.
So in battles at that time, that's how they went down. But guess what he's over here prophesying about? Read.
And garments rolled in blood.
So you'd have blood all over your clothes, just like you see the movie 300, all that, you know. Warfare with swords and shields and all that. Read.
But this shall be with burning and fuels of fire.
They said, but this war gonna be with burning and fuel of fire.
That's right.
That's nuclear destruction is what the Bible is. So what we need to do to get out of that, what we got to do as a people, we showing you we got to come back to our true nationality. We got to know who we are. We got to know to keep God's commandments because that's how we're gonna live. Read that Proverbs 72 and then get me Psalm 91. Cause we gotta let y'all understand the urgency, Sister Andrea, for your children to know, for you to know, bro. Because you need to be out here teaching your people like we is. It's a responsibility we got. All right, read it.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 7 and verse 2.
Read.
Keep my commandments and live.
So that's the end all be all of everything when it comes to these scriptures. God wants us to keep His commandments. The reason we here in the ghettos, in the slums, in the trap, living out the bando, all that is because we didn't keep God's commandments. God said we're supposed to be above everybody. I don't know if He brought that out. But God chose His people, them 12 tribes of people, to be above everybody. No such thing as equality. We're supposed to be on the top. But when you don't listen, what a parent do to you? Punishment. All right, go to, so when we keep God's commandments, He said that's how we live. Give me Psalm 91. Read it. Let me show you what we need to be in. We got to be in the protection of our Father if we want to understand and be able to make it out this war that's got to come. Because it's coming. The scripture's been talking about it from the beginning. From Genesis, been telling about how He's going to destroy the earth the second time. First time was with water. This time is coming with fire. That fire is them bombs that God had these folks create just to destroy this thing. This
right.
Read.
The book of Psalms, chapter 91 and verse 1.
Listen.
He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High.
So it said, He that dwells in the secret place of the Most High. It's talking about our people. We need to dwell in the secret place of the Most High. The secret place of the Most High is this Bible right here.
That's
in
right.
His Word. It's a secret because can't everybody understand it. Only God's chosen are going to be able to understand this book and be able to break it down to you precept upon precept as you see me doing right now. Read.
Shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty.
Read it from the top again.
He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty.
You want to be under the shadow of the Almighty in that day. Read.
I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him will I trust.
So He need to be our refuge and fortress. Go back down to where it said 10,000 right here. Read. I'm going to show you what the destruction is. It's still talking about the same thing I brought up from the beginning. Read.
Verse 5. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night.
He said when you abide in the shadow of the Most High, you shouldn't be afraid by the terror. That means the bombs is about to come to this place, right? When you with God and keeping His commandments, you don't got to be afraid because that's when no weapon formed against you shall prosper.
Right. Nor for the arrow that flies by day.
It said you shouldn't be afraid by that arrow that fly by day. In that time they had arrows. But this prophetic, it's talking about that missile that's coming out of Shiloh. Read. That's the arrow that it's talking about. Read.
Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness.
The pestilence that walk in darkness. What we got going on right now? Everybody's scared of it. Why we wearing masks here? Corona. That Rona, right?
That's right.
That's a pestilence. A pestilence that walk in darkness. That means it came out of nowhere, right? Come on, man. These folks creating stuff out here to take us out. We got to understand that we at war. Read.
Nor for the destruction that wasted at noonday.
So he's talking about a destruction that's going to waste at noonday. We're going to be like chilling, walking around about your daily life at noon somewhere, like a thief in the night. Boom. That's what the Lord is trying to tell us. You need to be ready for this.
That's right.
But you got to abide in God's commandments. That way you don't have to worry about it. Because He is going to be your refuge and your shelter in that day.
That's right.
All right? Read on.
1,000 shall fall at thy side,
1,000 people dead just like that. Read.
and 10,000 at thy right hand.
10,000 at your right hand. What you going to do there? That burning and fuel of fire that the Lord is trying to describe to us. We got to get ready for it. We need to be abiding in the shadow of the Most High. So now, read on.
But it shall not come nigh thee.
Listen, you see that though? But it said what?
But it shall not come nigh thee.
But it won't come near you. Why? Because you abiding in God's commandments. We got to know, but guess what? If you don't know you're an Israelite, you don't know them commandments pertain to you. You don't even know that's all this stuff in the Bible only is audience to us. That's the audience for this stuff. The commandments of God, the service of God. We the only people that really supposed to be serving God. The people right there on that sign, the white man can't serve our God. That's not their God. You know who their God is? This dude, they made him up. They made up a God. They made God in their image. We in God's image, though. We were formed from the dust of the ground. God said, let me make man in my image, and the first thing he looked for is what? Brown soil. He said, I'm going to make him to look like me.
That's right.
That's what we need to understand. But we gotta get this garbage right here out of our mind, because our kids can't grow up thinking that this they God. Right now, where we down the street from Chevy Drive, right there, Chevy Drive and Elvis Presley. There's a church right there next to the KFC. The biggest picture of white Jesus. Ain't no white people stay around there though.
That's right.
Why they broadcasting white Jesus to you in your neighborhood though? Because they want you to think they God. That's y'all God. Y'all worship us. That's what they telling you. You Negroes worship us. When the Bible described this man right here. The Bible described this right here. That's God. And he said, I look like my daddy.
That's right.
So what the Most High God look like? You and I. You see what I'm saying? We got to understand who we are. We got to love ourselves, and we got to come together. Give me the Zephaniah 1 and 8.
Bring it out.
Well, 2 and 1. Listen, gather yourself together. So look, we got to start understanding what we got to do. So after this, I'm going to bring out some commandments, because that's what's important to us. Sister Andrea, you understand that the commandments are important to us on how we're going to be able to escape the destruction that's coming to the earth. The commandments. So we're going to bring out commandments, that thing that God told us to do to keep us in his good graces, all right? Give me this. Zephaniah, gather yourself.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 1.
Read.
Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together.
So God telling us, gather together. Read.
O nation, not desired.
It said, oh nation, not desired. The nation is not desired, it's us. As a nation of people, look at the people on the sign, bro. The people on the sign is a whole nation of people. And don't know other nation of people like us. Don't nobody love the blacks. Don't nobody love the Hispanics. Don't nobody love the Native Americans. Look, they didn't rape, rob, and pillage us down to the bone. Down to the bone. God said it again. Read it again.
Gather yourselves together.
Read.
Yea, gather together. O nation, not desired.
Read.
Before the decree bringing forth.
Uh-huh.
Before the day passed and the chaff.
It said before the day passed and the chaff. Before the decree brings forth. Read.
Before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you.
Before that day of destruction that we was talking about. Before them bombs dropped. Before that destruction that wasted noonday. Matter of fact, give me Isaiah 54 and 16. Then we're going back. We're going to bring out some commandments, all right? I'm going to show you something simple, bro. All right? Then we're going to get 1 Corinthians 11, all right?
Bring it out.
And then, Andrea, I got something for you, too, all right? We're going to bring out simple commandments. This simple stuff that we can change right now today on the surface. All right, read.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 16.
Read.
Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coal in the fire.
So God talking to the prophet Isaiah, he said, Isaiah, look, I created the smith that blows the coal in the fire. The smith is talking about, you ever heard of him, blacksmith? What a blacksmith do? A blacksmith works with metal, like a blacksmith. He said a blacksmith works with metal. And normally what a blacksmith do is create weapons out of that metal. Creating swords, creating axes, all types of stuff like that, right? But you gotta get the metal real hot in a furnace, blowing the coals on it to heat it up. So you probably seen it before, right? Now read it again.
Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coal and the fire.
So God said, I created that guy to give him the knowledge to be able to make those weapons. Today, who make weapons today? It ain't like blacksmiths, because we don't use swords and axes and stuff like that no more, right? What we using today? Guns, missiles, bombs. So today, that dude is called a scientist, right? Read on.
And that bringeth forth an instrument for his work.
And that blacksmith brings forth an instrument for his work, which was back then a sword, a shield, a bow and arrow, an axe, whatever it may be. But today, it's a bomb, a machine gun. You know what I'm saying? Read.
I have created the waster to destroy.
And God said, I created that waster to destroy. The waster. What that sound like? We read a precept earlier that said, you shall be hid from the destruction that wasted noonday. Going into the bomb is going to waste everything away. Wipe everything out. God said, I created the man to make that. He made the scientists and gave him knowledge to make that. Why? Because he already told us from the beginning that he's going to destroy the earth in the next time with fire. So he had to make somebody, make the weapons to be able to do it. So, let's go back. Now let's get into these commandments that we need to be understanding we need to do. Go to 1 Corinthians. This for you, right, my brother. Then, Andrea, I got one for you. Hold on now. Because I got one for what we need to do as a people to learn. This basic stuff. We got to get the basic understanding first before we can go on to the larger things. Christ said, look, we got to understand the small things before we can get into the weightier matters of the law, right? Now let's go here. 1 Corinthians, you know what I want.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11 and verse 3.
Read.
But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
Matter of fact, start at verse 1. So this is what we're doing right now. We're reading at the New Testament, and this is the Apostle Paul about to establish the order of our nation, how we're supposed to be ordered as a people, right? Read.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11 and verse 1.
Read.
Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Christ.
You know what it said now? Paul said, look, follow me like I follow Christ. Read.
Now I praise you, brethren, that you remember me in all things, and keep the ordinances as I deliver them to you.
So Paul's telling the people that he's talking to, said, keep these ordinances or these rules, these commandments, like I'm teaching them to you. So this is a commandment he's about to teach them. Read.
But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
So that's the first part of the order. The head of every man is Christ, the black Messiah. Not forget about this white dude. He don't exist. This is garbage. The black Messiah. Said the head of every man out here, every Israelite man, is Christ. Read.
And the head of the woman is the man.
And the head of the woman is the man. That's how it's supposed to be ordered in our communities, in our households. Man, then woman. Read.
And the head of Christ is God.
So Christ even got a head. His father is his head. Christ, man, woman, children. Now that right there is out of order in our communities right now. That's the main reason, or one of the main reasons why everything's so crazy in our community. So we don't got fathers that's teaching our children. We don't got men that's instructing their women on how to act. Right? Everything out of order. They father's supposed to be right here with them. Listening. It's supposed to be coming from him. He's supposed to be getting understanding, getting it into his wife, not his girlfriend or baby mama, and then his children.
That's right.
He's going to instruct the children. That's the order of the community. That's the order on how God set this stuff up. Read it again right there.
And the head of the woman is the man.
Uh-huh.
And the head of Christ is God.
So now that's the order. The head of Christ is God. God, Christ, man, woman, children. Read.
Every man praying or prophesying, having his hand covered.
So now, Paul, this is one of the rules that Paul is saying, one of the commandments that God has given. Every man praying or prophesying. Right now, while we coming out of the Bible, we in the midst of prophecy. Let's get that. Give me that Revelation 19. We're going to go back. Now, why I'm going here is to show you and prove to you that when you're listening to the Bible and the scriptures, you're in the midst of prophesying. Right? There's prophecy coming out. It said, but every man praying or prophesying. Listen.
The book of Revelation, chapter 19 and verse 10.
Read.
And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, see thou do it not.
So this is John, the Revelator, seeing a vision. He said he seen an angel, he was going to fall down and worship him, but the angel told him, don't do that. Read.
I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Jesus.
So the angel said, look, I'm just like you. I got the testimony of Jesus. Read.
Worship God, For the testimony of Jesus.
For the testimony of Jesus, the testimony of Jesus is this whole Bible. Because Christ said, I come in the volume of the book. That's read.
For the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy.
So this Bible, when you read it, is the spirit of prophecy. The words that we read to you are spirit and life, according to the scripture. So when you listen to the Bible, you're in the midst of prophesying. So go back to Corinthians.
Hey,
What's going on, my brother? Hey, go back to this.
1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 4. Every man praying or prophesying.
So it said every man praying or prophesying. You listen to the scripture, listen to this.
Having his head covered.
Having his head what?
Covered.
Read.
Dishonored his head.
So it said if you got your head covered while you listening to the scripture, you dishonor your head. So you wear hats in churches. The men usually wear hats in churches and stuff like that. No. So it's saying if you got your head covered right now, you dishonoring your head, which is Christ. That's easily understood right there. All praise to the Most High right there. That's
right.
That's what God telling our people to do. Just understand the words He's saying. That's the rule, and do it. That's just like that, bro. That's like that. Look, the angels rejoice when we see somebody repent. When the angels see a man just do what God said.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.